whatever, I can drive everywhere. And you have to understand, I do these events, these expos. I was just in Arkansas last week, 10.5-hour trip. So I'm constantly traveling. I absolutely love what I do. I love going to the locations. You know, you have to understand how I got into this was, I had several personal experiences as a child and a young adult. I said it never happened. And up until a few years ago, I saw some of the ghost hunting shows, and I was like, maybe there is something to this. So I wanted answers. I wanted to seek out the truth. And I actually joined a team and started investigating. My first investigation, I went to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, most wanted cemetery in the United States, which is outside Chicago. Over 1,500 documented paranormal activities, and that's only the ones that have been documented. I caught a little apparition of a boy, which I can show you if you come to my booth. And I caught an EVP leave this place that day. That was it. I became an addict after that, and I could not stop hunting. And I absolutely love what I do, but I gotta tell you, it's like having 2 full-time jobs. Just in the paranormal, then there's my real job. So I have 3 full-time jobs. Plus I produce TV shows. Plus I host my own TV show. So I'm pretty busy. But, you know, it takes a special passion and desire to do this field because it can be boring at times. But anyways, that's a little bit about me. What I like to do is, me personally, I don't like sitting here listening to someone talking. What I like to do is I open up my sessions to a town hall meeting, and I take questions, and I'll answer them the best that I can. So please don't be shy. I was just doing a meetup with the Chicago Ghost Hunters group. They had me talking for 2.5 hours. I mean, the hands just kept coming up. You know, you have to understand, I've only been in this field for under 3 years, but with the amount of investigations I've done, it's like 8 to 9 years worth of experience. So, come on, hit me with some questions. Yeah.
What's one of your favorite spots?
One of my favorite spots, Bachelor's Grove. Bachelor's Grove, a lot of people are like, I can't believe you're going to move to Tennessee and leave Bachelor's Grove. Bachelor's Grove is my Disneyland. Something always happens there, whether it's battery drainage, EVPs, equipment failure, my cell phone turning on by itself. I remember one day, one of the stories down by the creek is a little girl weeps down there. I was on a rock in the middle of the creek and I'm listening and ding, 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 ding. I almost fell on the creek. It just startled me. I wasn't ready for it. Bachelor's Grove is probably my favorite place to go. I'm really going to miss it when I move. Yeah. It's funny that you asked that. If you didn't hear her, she asked you here.
You're fine. Go ahead. Just trying to tribute.
Here are things with my ears. Okay, I'm an EVP specialist, and the reason why I'm an EVP specialist, this little boy right here, he has 18,000 decibel hearing. All right, you adults, you have roughly 3,000 to 8,000 decibel hearing. I still have 13,000 decibel hearing, so I hear a lot of stuff. What I do is with my team, they all go live EVP, and what I mean by live EVP, I should run in some equipment. I amplify the digital recorder, and then I put splitters on that so they all have headphones on, so they can hear what I'm hearing. And because so many times I'm like shh, 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 and I forget they don't hear what I'm hearing. But for me personally, yeah, I hear a lot. Footsteps, voices. No, I'm not crazy. What else? Come on, guys. Deal with questions. Come on, yeah.
Okay, you just referred to the Chicago team as a ghost team.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
They're family members. I don't pick their names, but I cannot stand that word, you know. But who am I to tell them to change their name? I'm not a big fan of that word. I hate that word. You know, I am a paranormal investigator. You lot of equipment around. Oh my gosh, what a shy group.
Question, do you
Yeah.
ever get scared?
Scared? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll admit it. I was at CBC thrift store in Campsville, Illinois, which is down by St. Louis. And what I didn't know was in 1905 it was a funeral home. Anyways, we had gotten there and we had activity throughout the night. We were getting flashlight interaction coming on command and whatnot. Well, we had been there, I believe it was March, and there was no power, so it was freezing. So we actually had to go down the street to a bar. There was an apartment above it, and we would warm up there. Well, we went over there, oh, mind you, it was probably about 3:15. And the past family founder of Prom out of St. Louis and the founder of CCP, which is there in Campsville, we were out in the car talking and smoking and whatever. And we were out there probably until 3:45. And I was like, no, I want to go back. So I went to call my team, no one was answering. So I went upstairs and my whole team was asleep. And I'm like, well, it's 3:45 in the morning. I'm not going to wake them up. Most investigations are over by this time anyways. So, excuse me. So the three of us went back. About 5:40 in the morning, something decided to manipulate the flashlight. We sat there and watched it play with it for 45 minutes. I was like, that was wild. Now, about 6:15, all of a sudden I hear, I'm like, what the hell is that? See, you have to understand, there is an apartment above the thrift store, but they had taken out the back stairwell, the only way to get up there, so there was a ladder to get up there, and it was by us. It sounded like a sofa was being dragged, and she goes, they're moving the furniture. All of a sudden, now mind you, the sun is up, and it's peeking through the windows. All of a sudden, I see the darkest shadow figure walk across the room, and I made it out. It was a man. I was just like, what? And Jeannie was like, are you okay, Brent? Did you see that? Because I had never seen a shadow figure during the day. And she had saw it about 6:30, maybe 6:40, 6:45 in the morning. I decided to go down this hall, and I was looking real intently in this room. All of a sudden, I hear bump, 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 footsteps coming in. I started screaming like a little girl. Ah! You know, I'm thinking gigantic raccoon's gonna jump in my face, you know, and thump, 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 thump. It ran over my head. It was up in the apartment. It scared me like crap. The girls came over and they're like, we thought it was you running. I was like, no, I was froze because I couldn't believe this was happening, you know. But yeah, do I get scared? Scared, startled. I get startled. I was just in Tennessee 3 weeks ago at the Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, and we were in the surgery room, and the team was in there, and I was in the doorway, and I was looking down this hall, and I could hear voices from another corridor, and all of a sudden I heard footsteps. And I could hear it out of this ear, but I kept looking down this hall, and I could hear them, and I'm like, shh, and I'm listening, and I could hear them coming. All of a sudden, I had a flashlight down the hall. It came on, and I was just like, I wasn't ready for it. So there's things that startle me. I was at a slave cemetery. Shadow figure ran out in front of me. I wasn't ready, you know. But scared? No. And the reason why I don't get scared is past does not take any cases where the word demonic comes up. And demonic is a word that's thrown around in this field. And I don't take cases that angry spirits are involved. So you have to understand, we're not specialized to do that. We're not specialized to do that, and that's why I won't look to take those kind of cases. There's so many teams that will take them. We actually have a demonologist team in the past family. They're down in Florida. Paranormal Consulting Agency, PCA, Richfield does. If you know who John Zaffis is, he actually hands his cases off to them. So if we have any possible demonic, they call Rich. So anyways, and Rich had told me, he said, you know, Brandon, 95% of the cases that we do is because some team went in there and messed it up. Because what they do is they jump on this and they actually increase the activity. And that's not fair to the client. Not to mention, I have a job and a responsibility to keep my team safe. And you know, you don't know what you're going to get involved in when the word demonic or angry spirit comes up. And the reason why I feel this way is, do I think there are demons? Absolutely. Something happened to me when I was 18 years old. I wasn't in the paranormal, didn't believe in it. I was living out in Huntington Beach, California, and I was going to a Bible study, and someone had brought a supposed possessed woman to the Bible study. I'm going, yeah, right, whatever. And they said, don't look in her eyes. I looked in her eyes. Okay, it was creepy, all right. And she was cussing during the Bible study. But that's not what convinced me. The owner who was hosting the Bible study actually had a husky dog, and she had put it outside for the Bible study. I watched that husky dog for an hour try to rip that door down. Its mouth was bleeding. That's what convinced me that that woman was possessed. That's why I don't take demonic cases. People get scratched, people get pushed, people get hurt. I am not going to jeopardize my team that way, their safety, nor my own. Not to mention attachments. I've had an attachment. It's bad news. I do not mess around with that stuff, and I won't. And, you know, these teams that think they can handle it, it's wrong. It's wrong. You know, I won't even talk to a client if those words come up. And people are like, well, that's not right. Well, that's not true. Why should I talk to a client because they're coming, what I like to call, out of the paranormal closet, to tell someone about their story? They obviously feel comfortable enough to tell me what's going on, just for me to say, yeah, I can't take the case. That's not fair to them. So I'll hand it off to a particular team that I know that can handle it. So, getting back to your question, scared? No, I haven't been scared. No, that's not what I'm scared. No. Anyways. Yeah.
Have you ever, I know most of the time it's like either dark shadow or something white, like white light. Have you ever seen like an actual color that
I've seen what I refer to as balls. I've seen red, green, yellow, yellow. What's that? I don't know. They're like balls. I can't explain it. Or flashes, different color flashes. I've seen that. Yeah. That's all right. Hey, the dumbest question is the question that's not asked at all.
Why do people call them dark shadow? Like a shadow person. Why do they call them that? Or
It's just a different way of classifying it. You know, I call white shadow figures, black shadow figures, so that you have to understand it's a personal experience. So we can't always document personal experiences. So we try to label it so people can better comprehend what it is that we saw. You know, myself, I'll tell you what, guys, I've seen so many meter heads. I'm enjoying the personal experiences. I can't prove them. I record them. I record everything that happens on the case. You know, people are welcome to believe me or not. I ain't gonna happen. But I love the personal experiences. We just did that Ghost Hunting Class 101 last night over at the Woodland Inn, which I believe is like 20 minutes from here. I'll tell you what, I wasn't expecting really that much activity with the amount of people that we had there. We were getting activity. We were getting flashlight turning on command, K2s. We kept hearing the door opening. The bathroom door, like a squeaking sound, and everybody was hearing it, and I'm like, who's in the bathroom? And nobody was in the bathroom. We had something fall off the shelf, hit someone in the head. What else happened? Knights in the back, they're the past family members, one of the past family members here from Indiana. What else happened?
We saw shadow play in the
Oh
corner.
yeah, we had a laser grid. I personally didn't get to see this, but several people saw it. The laser grids were broken. Black Shadow broke
A foot.
the
We
laser.
saw,
We saw a foot.
like a foot come. Like
There
they
was
were
a
stepping.
hallway against the wall. There's two ways you go into this corner, and it looked like somebody was getting ready to walk out that back hallway. We saw a foot like break the.
And there wasn't anybody back there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so. But,
I was expecting somebody to come through, and nobody did.
It was pretty wild. I didn't expect that. But you have to understand, I've seen so many locations. I'll be honest with you. I feel truly blessed just to be in the location. If I get paranormal activity, it's a bonus. So if nothing happens, I'm not upset. I get to see a cool place. You know, if you go on my website, it lists all my investigations. I color code them all. Green, no activity; yellow, little activity; orange, semi-active; and red, very active. You'll see a lot of greens on there. People are like, "Well, why do you post that?" Because it's the truth. Nothing happened. It doesn't mean that that location isn't active, but when I was there, nothing happened.
How long do you stay somewhere?
It depends. Some locations 12 hours. We'll hit mini investigations, and what I mean by mini investigations are 3-4 hour cemetery, and sometimes we'll hit 4 cemeteries in one day. So, but
At night generally?
no, day. I mean, everyone has this misconception that the best isn't. Guys, paranormal activity happens 24 hours a day. The only reason why it seems so much better at night is because we're more alert. We don't have the everyday life cars or whatever distracting us, so we're more alert. I just told you about that shadow person. 6:30 in the morning. You know, I caught some of my best EVPs, Bachelor's Grove, during the day. You know, one of the EVPs, why do you always ask me that? And it's clear. I was the only one there. I was like, oh, I wasn't talking to myself. You know. But, now, you have to understand, we're not open-minded about it during the day because we're so distracted by everything that's going on. It's happening. It is happening. Yeah.
Do you feel like you get more paranormal activity outside compared to like when you're inside the building, or is it vice versa, or is it about the same?
It's both. It's both. I've been to outdoor locations where I've gotten tons of activity. Matter of fact, you folks are from Indiana, Gypsy Cemetery. Got a lot of activity. What is that in Crown Point?
Crown Point, Lowell, Hebron
Yeah.
area.
We were there, and we were getting flashlight interaction. You know,
Black shadows like crazy.
There's a place not only but 3 miles from here that's pretty active.
Yeah.
Which is what?
Yeah, but to answer your question, activity, I won't say indoors is better. Indoors is better for less corruption, obviously, during our EVP sessions. But, you know, I get quite a bit of activity outside. So, you know, do I have a favorite? No. I like them both. I'm just happy to be in the location. And I love cemeteries. Love them. Don't get it. And that's another story for another day. I don't know why we have them, but yeah.
Do you have a team that does much in Louisiana, down in the bayou?
That's a great. I have a team coming for Louisiana. Me personally, I can't wait to get to Louisiana. I'm probably the other thing that I'm doing now that I'm going to be in Tennessee is I'll be hosting events. And I was just on the phone with someone yesterday while riding here from Chicago, and I said, look, I want to do an event in New Orleans. I want to do a lockdown, but during the day we take a walk all the cemeteries. I can't wait to see it down there. You know, people ask me all the time, if there was any place you could go, where would it be? Number one, Waverly Hills. I still have not gotten there. Number two, New Orleans. And people are like, well, what about England? Why? I don't want to.
I wouldn't say so much also as just New Orleans, but maybe like Slidell.
I don't know that area, but
It's all down south.
Hey,
Very, very.
you have to understand, from Tennessee, it's only 8 hours. I'm there. I'm there. That's the beautiful thing. I love it because I'm going to be so accessible to go to all these places I never imagined. And you know, people ask me all the time, do you believe? 80%. If I believe 100%, I wouldn't be doing this. You know, you have to understand, I am the biggest skeptic there is. And I will tell you, if something happens, I will sit there for hours trying to figure out why. Why is this meter going off? This does not make sense. I was doing it last night. It was. I'm not a big fan of the K2 we were using them last night, but and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why are these going off? You know, and I was trying to figure it out. The little boy picture, guys. I shot that picture easily 400 times trying to recapture it, reproduce it, and it still can't. That's the skeptic I am. And you have to be a skeptic. Otherwise, you go into these locations, if you're not a skeptic, every little thing is paranormal. Ooh, what was that thing? You know, and it's just someone shit, you know, or it was their pants rubbing. So, it's on another hand. Yeah.
You mentioned you had an attachment. Can you explain what that is?
An attachment, basically an attachment is what I like to call a curious spirit, and it falls on. We're all run the risk of picking up an attachment. Some of the known believed locations to best pick up an attachment is a hospital, a cemetery, a nursing home, funeral home. Did I say Kevin? Anyways, it's not always, and watch how I say this. This is my personal belief. It's not always a bad thing, but it can turn into. And basically, mine turned into that. I had two spirits that I was told had followed me home, and I was like, yeah. Being the junkie that I was, you know, when I wasn't out investigating, I got my fix here at home. Meters out, you know, I saw a woman, an apparition woman. That was the first time I had ever seen an apparition. I was talking to one of the fans on Facebook, and I had my glasses down to the brim of my nose, and I was married at the time, and I thought my wife was standing there. And I looked up, and I saw it with my bare eyes, and there she was. She was standing right there. I could see that hair perfect and everything. Boom, she was gone. And anyway, so I thought this was great, you know. I'm a very social person. I talk to everyone. I open up my fan page, or excuse me, on Facebook, I'll open up my IMs maybe once or twice a week and answer the questions or listen to the stories, you know, until I start getting hit with 20 of them, and then enough's enough, you know. I answer all the emails. I'm just a very social person. I started pushing everyone away. Everyone. I started abusing alcohol. I started saying things that I'm like, that's not good. Why am I saying that? So basically what had happened was I started getting chest pains in the beginning of the month. Then one week I started getting chest pains, and I really thought I was starting to have a heart attack. And I went to the doctors, and one of the things that an attachment happens with an attachment disease follows. They can cause diseases. Well, I got diagnosed with the first stage of high blood pressure. So I was like, okay, maybe there is something to this. So I called Trisha Clark, who's a medium. She's in the family. I immediately got crystals. She taught me how to do a cleansing bath, taught me how to cleanse the house. 4 hours after doing that, I felt 20 times better. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I think the same way being a skeptic. I was like, okay, was it mind over matter? I don't think so. I don't think so. And you know, I was talking about this last night at the Woodland Inn. You know, how do we know Uncle Bob's an alcoholic? Maybe he has an attachment. Think of all the people we've thrown in insane asylums. Were they really crazy? Maybe they had an attachment. Door prize. Anyways, think of hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy, if you don't know about hydrotherapy, what they would do is they would put you in hot water and quickly put you in cold water. What they were trying to do is expel the demon out of you. So maybe there was something to it even back then, although I'm saying those. Anyways, I mean, they were very cruel punishment, torture, but maybe there was something to it back then. But now what we do as a society, we label it depression, schizophrenic, bipolar, alcoholism. How do we know it's not attachment? Think about it, folks. Think about it. Paranormal activity has picked up in the last 3 years, drastically. Maybe because as a society we're becoming more open-minded, or maybe it's just becoming more active. And I know you're thinking 2012, we're not even going to go there. I don't believe in that, I'm sorry. I just think the Mayans, they saw the conquistadors coming over the horizon, and, you know, they quickly finished the calendar. Yeah.
You say demon and negative spirits. How do you know you are at all?
When a case comes in, they will tell us what's going on at the home, and there are certain things that are immediate red flags, scratches, pushing, stuff like that. That's, excuse me, either angry, demonic, growls. I'm just like, no thanks. Not gonna even part with it. So, you had a question.
Yeah, in cases where, like you say, you see the figure of a form or the figure of a man or figure of a woman, what do you typically see more? I mean, do you see more like, to put it weirdly, more like male hauntings, more female? Just kind of even?
Equal.
Or?
It's equal. I see a lot. I've been getting a lot of children, and I have a theory, and this is my personal or theory. I'm not saying that this is how it is. I believe the reason why we have so many children spirits still here on Earth is, think about it. From the minute our child is 2-3 years old, we teach them not to talk to strangers. So why would they go into a life? Wouldn't they want to stay with their loved one, their mom, their dad? Think about it. But I became a lot of children, and it breaks my heart. I'm a father myself, but I captured. I was using a spirit box called the Joe's box, and I captured a little boy named Dylan. And the investigator I was with. Anyways, and she asked him, "Why are you here, little one?" And all of a sudden, a new voice came in, and it reminded me of guys. Remember when Carol Ann was trying to talk to her parents, and she kept getting blocked? All of a sudden, a new voice came through and went, "Go on, team," and Dylan never came back. We were just in Michigan at a hidden hospital, and we captured another child through a spirit box. And I asked her, "What is your name?" What? And she said, "Yeah." It's just like, it almost brings a tear to your head. I think you actually teared up.
It was sad to hear a child's voice.
So, what else, guys? Yeah.
Do you have any substantial video of any apparitions?
Yeah. No, and most don't. There are, I'm not an orb fan. There are 4 orbs out of 4,000 pictures that I've taken that have caught my eye. 2 of them, no, 3 of them are video. We were at potato farm, and it was, mind you, it was 28 degrees, and you just see these white balls, and they're not bug, they weren't dust. What it was, I don't know. That's all I got on video. I'll be honest with you, I really don't watch video. I mean, the chances of capturing something are so slim. You know, that's why I'm into the recording, plus my hearing. You know, it's easier to catch EVPs than it is to capture something on video or camera. Because think about it, you know, if that were the case, think of how many pictures we have. You know, the one thing I teach a lot of family members is they're taking pictures during the investigation. I'm like, stop. You're scaring them away. Because how many go say, here I am, take my picture. We'd have tons of pictures all over the place. They hide. They don't like their picture being taken. They like to let us know they're there. They don't want to. Anyways, but no, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I have, I don't know, 7,200 some fans on Facebook. I throw all my pictures up and I let them look at them. I don't even know what's going on. You know, I'll read what they post, but most of the time it's matrixing or I love it. Oh, orbs. Guys, 98% of orbs can be explained some shape or form, dust, moisture, pollen. You know, you would think with the technology we have today, the evidence would be getting better. It's getting worse because today's cameras are so sophisticated, the littlest thing will change the shutter speed and cause false orbs. Oh, but it's my grandma, you know, she died 1 year ago. But, you know, I always say if the orb doesn't have a pair of depends on, sorry, it's not your grandma, otherwise she's dust. You know, I hate orbs. Yeah.
Now, when you're doing EVP recordings, do you seem to have better result using like newer digital recorders or old like cassette tape style recorders?
I'm still testing a lot of those. See, that's the other thing about PASS. PASS doesn't do a whole lot of residentials. I try to stay away from them. I do have a division that does handle the residential. Me personally, I don't like residentials. PASS is all about the truth. So what we focus on is going to known, haunted, or active locations so that we can try to gather evidence, test new equipment, and theories. The jury's still out on that one. I think the digital recorders are better, but that's my personal, you know, some people swear by the analog. I'm still testing them. You know, we test plasma balls. It's believed that and they can take the power, you know, when they play with a plasma ball and it will actually move and they can use that energy. I've yet to see anything yet. We tried EMF pumps. The big thing that we're into right now is we're ionizing locations. I had been at a cemetery doing a fan day and one of those quick storms went by and there was lots of lightning and whatnot. And all of a sudden the cemetery picked up. We were getting meter hits and I was like, oh, that's cool. And it was long enough that the storm had gone by, it should have dissipated. But what it did was it charged up the cemetery. Then I saw it happen at another cemetery. And I said, maybe there is something to this. So we were at Octagon Hall in Kentucky. And I said, and this was my second time. The first time I went, I didn't go with the team. And we got a lot of activity there. And well, we ionized it. When I was there the first time, our readings, the EMF readings was 0.0. We ionized that place so much. And what I mean by ionization is what we're doing is we're charging up a location, basically trying to put the spirit on steroids so that they can talk to us, whatever the case may be. And it was a 0.2, and we caught so many EVPs. Mary Elizabeth, who's the most active in that location, her dress caught on fire and she nearly she almost burned to death, but ended up dying 3 days later. She's the most active. I've caught her telling me, come and play with me. I've heard her cooing, talking. I've heard it even with my neighbor here. It's a cool place. But the other thing that's cool about the ionization, if you're an investigator, I don't know how many investigators are in here, it is so great. If you want that video footage, you should have it in your house anyways, an ionizer. What it does is it positively charges dust and negatively charges them. They come together and fall to the floor. So now you don't have the dust in your home. But for the surveillance cameras, no dust. There's a little, but it's not as bad. Because let's face it, we don't have some really dusty places. I'm not saying we can eliminate all the dust, but it helps anyway. So that's another thing we're testing. Gansfeld experiment. You don't know what Gansfeld experiment is it's you see it on TV, you put the ping pong balls and you listen to white and pink noise and there's a red light. That's test for ESP. Supposedly you can pick up what someone's doing somewhere else in the building. Guess what? Spirits come to you during Gansfeld experiments. And it's pretty wild. And what I do with my team is I put them back to back. Because I get this theory, I said, well, maybe they'll pick up on what the other person's thinking, right? That part didn't work. But my team is not allowed to talk to one another after the Gansfeld experiment. They're going to write everything down. 4 people had done it. We did it at the Masonic Temple Lodge, and 96% of everything they wrote down was the same. They experienced the same thing. The sensation of riding in a wagon. The same little girl, to the T, what she was wearing. So we'll continue to keep testing that. I'm now adding brown noise to the white and pink noise. Maybe that will enhance it. See, the reason why we test so much equipment and theories is what we're trying to do is help this field. Because if we can figure out ways of getting better evidence, more evidence, that's what this field's all about. So, anyways, yeah.
So, do you find it just in a theoretical sense?
I can hear you.
Just in a theoretical sense, do you think it's you capture more if you were by yourself than with a group? Does it seem more active to you by yourself?
Sure. That's why we limit the groups to 3 to 4. Anything more than that, they're gone. I've witnessed that many times. That's why last night I was quite shocked that we were getting activity because it was such a huge group. I didn't think anything was going to happen, to be honest with you. And I was quite shocked. But most of the time, when there is a big group, it just seems to die off. I mean, there may be a little. I noticed with 3 and 4, it seems to be better. And of course, by yourself a lot happens. But unfortunately, you don't have someone there to witness or experience the same things you are. So it's kind of yelling. So another, yeah.
Now, I know earlier you said you don't do any haunts that, they seem like they're going to be violent or anything like that. Have you ever gone into one where it seems normal enough, and then when you get there, it turns really bad really quick, or?
No,
Okay.
that I haven't.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
That scares me to death all the time because you never know what you might run into. Octagon Hall, I did have something negative happen. I had my head up in the attic, and I had the headphones on, and 2 of the team members had headphones down, and I was on a ladder. I wasn't going to climb up there with that old installation, So anyways, I heard something, and we thought it was a breath. But when we went to analyze, something had taken a swing on it, and it was just a. But at the time, we thought it was a breath. My theory is, because that was at the time when I got the attachment, I think it was swinging at the attachment on me. Because I was saying some things that I normally don't say. And what I mean by that, taunting, I'm not a big believer in taunting. I'll admit I did it wrong in the beginning. I was a taunter. Because Zach Bagans did it, so it must be the right way, right? Someone taught me that, would you talk to your mother that way? And that hit home, so I don't taunt anymore. And when someone is taunting, I will stop them and say, look, what you have to understand is when you start to taunt, you are going into a negative mind frame. So you're now not open-minded. You're not going to have the personal experiences. So, yeah.
Do you think that maybe most parents are nice? Is there something when somebody goes in and wants to get hurt?
Sure. I don't know if they're all nice. I don't know. I've heard stories. The ones I've seen are nice, or taught to, or interacted with. But that's the way I want it. Yeah.
When you do your investigations, are there just active spiritual movement, or do you pick up essential anything else?
Sure. Yeah. What we'll do is immediately we'll figure out if it is residual or excuse me. Or what they call an intelligent. We were at Old Lake County Jail here in Indiana, and we were getting intelligent responses with a flashlight. It was turning on and off. However, our motion detector kept going off. What I honestly believe, what was causing the motion detector was residual. Because I think it was a guard that was just kept going around. We tried to time it. It wasn't consistent, but it was just kind of weird how, because the way, if you've been there, they have all the cells, but the guards would walk around so that they could watch the inmates. And I think it was residual because, nothing would be happening, but all of a sudden the motion detector go off, and it's like, why does that keep going on? It's got to be residual. It's got to be. What would just keep walking by and setting that thing off? So. But yeah, we try to determine if it's residual, intelligent, but sometimes until you get home and review the evidence. However, we've kind of eliminated that old style of investigating, because by going live, what we do is 4 of us, 3, 4 of us have headphones on, and we're all hearing the same thing. So what we're doing is we're time management. Most paranormal investigators will record hours and hours and hours, and they go review it when they get home. Well, by doing it this way, if something doesn't happen, there's 4 people. In 5 minutes, we stop it, we erase it, time management. However, if we start hearing something, we'll all be like, "Did you hear that?" Yeah. And we'll keep going. And we may stop it and all review it. And if we feel it's intelligent, now we can start the proper kind of GPT session. Prime example, for our elementary school in Iowa, I started singing children's songs, and a little girl, we were hearing, so I'm like, "Did you hear that?" And the whole team heard it, and so we kept going. Well, had we not heard that with the headphones, we wouldn't have known what to do, so I kept singing, and she got closer and closer. So, it is such a cool field, guys. Paranormal activity is just everywhere. It is everywhere. It is fun. I've kept a blast doing it. I love it. I love it. I get to do what I do. I mean, think about it. How many 40-year-olds get to start all over and just up and leave and move? You know, I got a network that's just growing so fast. You know, I'm actually going to be guest appearing on our Ghost Detectives. They're on Fox. You know, I get to host events. I get to meet all these incredible people. I'm having a blast. Yeah.
Are you actually ever asked to help people?
Yeah.
Asking you to come because?
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. With the network, the exposure that I give, and I do so many events, I try to get more exposure to not only the TV network, but the past family. Because the teams that I have hand-selected to be in this family, I trust they hand the case over to them. We have people calling all the time for help. I know which team can handle the case. And see, because you have to understand, okay, the way Past Family started was we were growing so fast. A couple of founders of two smaller groups said, oh, well, don't forget about us little guys when you guys get big. And I said, the hell with that, you're coming with us. And that's how Past Family started, because I wanted our success to be their success. And, you know, although they're under the Past umbrella, we're all equal. I have a team here in Indiana called Paragals. They're down in Tell City. They only have 2 or 3 people on their team. Hey, I'm right there with them. I'm no better than them. And we're all equal, and that's why this family works. What had happened was, the only reason, the rule was, the family was only supposed to be 8 hours, so that I could go and work with the family. What happened was, a few cases came in outside of our territory. I had to hand them off to teams that I didn't know. And I was very upset about that. Next thing I knew, I was expanding to Missouri, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida. And so now I'm just riding here. So, but yeah, we are here to help.
What kind of things you do to help you?
Cleansings. We've cleansed houses. We don't do the crossover. A few of the teams do. I've yet to witness this. My personal belief is I don't believe totally in crossover. I think a spirit will leave when they want to. Take, for instance, my attachments. Are they truly gone? I don't think so, because they didn't choose to leave. But I think when we smudge or do a cleansing, I think we put them a bay, a border, and now it's their choice. But that's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that's how it is. Maybe they are crossing over. I don't know. I haven't witnessed it. None of us know. So I'm not going to say, well, that's BS, you know, but I just have my personal belief, you know, they're still human beings, you know. Yeah.
What type of percentage rate do you have that when you go out to investigate that it's a true investigation or false investigation?
That's why I don't do the residentials. I don't know what the percentage would be, but I've been on some real doozies. The one that will always pop in my head, it was a residential. It was 4.5 hours away. My case manager at the time had been talking to the client. Now, with my busy schedule, if you send me an email and it's longer than 2 sentences, I don't have time to read it. And so, my case manager the day before said I can't take it. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just interview the client when I get there. 15 minutes into the interview, she tells me she's suicidal, she collects guns. I'm going, hell did I just get myself into? I wanted to kill my case manager. She had been talking to her for a month. Hello, this lady's loony. So she's telling me the reports of the other teams, what they got. I'm debunking stuff left and right. You know, she's like, I saw a headless spirit right here. And I put the millimeter up against the wall, 32.3. I'm like, oh my gosh, that high of EMF reading is going to cause hallucinations. You know, oh, we were getting paid 2 sessions right here. At this point, I'm going, oh my gosh. So I just throw the meter on the floor, boom, it spikes. And so we were debunking everything. But to answer your question, I don't know what the percentage is. It's turned me off. I don't do a whole lot of residentials. It's not that I don't want to help people and I don't believe people. I have a division within my team that handles that. I just don't want to. I want to go to bigger known locations because I want to go do what I wanted to do from the beginning. Is gather evidence, test theory, test new equipment. That's what me personally. But, you know, that's why I did create the division that does help. You know, and that's all. Oh yeah. Well, guys, it looks like they're getting ready to tear down. So, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.